Welcome back to the Legal Smith Unleashed. I'm attorney Kurt Smith. I'm here with draft monkey Dylan Smith, paralegal extraordinaire. In reality, I give Dylan a hard time a lot of times because he's here. But boy, you know, the lifeblood of a good law firm relies on the staff. Dylan's a staff at my law firm, and I honestly don't know how I do without him. So.
I appreciate that. I don't know what you do either, to be honest with you.
And that's what I hear every day is, I don't know what you'd be without me. That's what I hear from all the staff. But we've had some great staff over the years. Some not so good staff, but we've got a good crew, and Dylan's an integral part of that. So we love having him around, even though we give him a hard time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Dylan, what do you know about The Gambler?
I don't know.
You know the song?
I've heard it.
Okay. Kenny Rogers?
Yeah.
The Gambler. What do you got to know if you're the gambler?
When to hold 'em, when to fold 'em. I don't know.
When to walk away.
When to walk away.
And when to run.
That's right.
And, a lot of times that's what we're doing in court. Court is a high-stakes gamble a lot of times because, try as you may to prepare, there's always something that's coming out that's unexpected. And that's been true in a couple of different cases that we've had, trials and almost trials, calendar call, the hearing before trial where they see if you're ready. And we've had some great results recently, both with the trials and with the pre-trial stuff. But the old adage holds true. You got to know when to hold them, right, and know when to fold them. And we had a recent trial with a guy who came in and wanted to lower his support obligations. Right now, a lot of times those guys get looked on poorly by the judges because they're considered what?
A little bit of a deadbeat.
Little bit of a deadbeat, right? Hey, you're a little bit of a deadbeat. You don't want to pay. And, sometimes that's true, and sometimes it just isn't, right? So when you go through a divorce, there's several pots of money you've got to deal with, right? Pot number one is the division of the assets, right? So if you've got a big bank account, $100,000 in there, we're going to divide that bank account. You got a big house, we're going to divide that house. The division of the assets, right?
Right.
Next pot of money is
the debts.
Well, that's the negative pot, right? So you got to divide the debts too. The good goes with the bad. But then if you've got kids, the next pot of money is what?
Child support.
Child support, right? And dads get a hard time about child support because they are presumed to not want to pay. And I haven't done this for almost 20 years. I will tell you, most dads don't have a problem paying child support. They just want to control where the money goes. Not quite the same thing, but they see mom going and get her hair done and going to get her nails done, and that's my child support at work. It's supposed to be going to my kid. And so guys get a little bit upset about that, rightly or wrongly, right? They get a little bit upset. But that's the third pot of money. And in a divorce situation, what's the fourth pot of money? Rhymes with galimony. Alimony. There we go. Right. It might be the same word. I'm not sure. Galimony, alimony. I'm not sure. It's usually
palimony too.
There is palimony, not in Nevada, but there's palimony. Yeah. So we have alimony here in Nevada, and boy, if there's a pot of money people don't like to pay, it's that alimony portion. Yeah. And what we run into sometimes, because a lot of times we get cases right from the draw, right from the get-go, where people come in and say, hey, I'd like to get a divorce, and we take them through from start to finish. But sometimes we get the cases where the people come in and go, hey, I went and retained an attorney a couple of years ago, and I don't know what happened, but I'm now paying $7,500 a month, and I only make $8,500. Can you help me?
Yeah. It's a nightmare situation.
That
when
is
it
a nightmare
happens.
situation. It does happen, and you know, the question sometimes is why, right? Why did that happen? And a lot of times the answer is, you know, whether they had an attorney or didn't have an attorney. But sometimes it's, I got to get out of this marriage as quickly as I can. I'll sign whatever. You put it in front of me, I'll sign. I don't have a problem with it. And the person's like, really? Let's try $7,500 a month. And they put it down, and the person signs it, and all of a sudden you're on the hook. And trying to get out of something that you agreed to is very difficult, because you go and you go, oh, I didn't know it was $7,500. The judge is like, you didn't read it? You didn't examine the terms? You just willy-nilly signed? And the answer is always yes, and the answer from the judge is always, I don't believe you, right?
And I don't know if I believe it either, but sometimes I wonder, like, how many of those cases are they telling the truth?
Yeah, unfortunately, that is one of the questions we will never know.
We'll
right?
never know. Hey, until we can read each other's minds, we will never know.
I always think it's always the truth, because I always believe my clients. There's a lot of unsavory characters out there, and there's a lot of liars, but not my clients. My clients always tell the truth.
That's true.
Until I find out that they're not, and then we have a problem. But
I don't know anything about that.
So we had a case recently where we had a guy that signed up for $6,500 a month in both combined child support and alimony, and to him it made sense at the time because he was making just a bucket of money.
Yeah.
But his income went down. During COVID, he was one of the few guys that the income went way up, and now that the COVID's over, the income's come down, and he's hurting now.
Yeah.
And going, what did I sign up for? And realistically, at the time, I doubt the judge would have given that award if he had just stuck it out and went through the trial rather than just agreeing to whatever was put in front of him. But and actually, I talked to the guy. I'm like, how did you end up in this situation? And he's like, you know, I had this attorney, and boy, was she nasty. You know, she was just this mean girl, and she told me this is the best thing for me. But on the other hand, she kept saying how she had to get home to her kid. And, you know, I'm not sure if I did this because it was a good deal for me or because she just wanted to be done. And the answer is I don't know. I don't know that either.
I'm sure a fellow officer of the court would never do such a thing like that.
No, attorneys don't have personal lives either.
No.
They just want to be done with things sometimes. So, but the bottom line is, number one, you got to read the documents. Number two, please don't sign something that seems like it's not going to be in your best interests. Like if you make $8,500 a month and they ask you to pay $65,000, probably not your best bet, right? So
you might be overextending.
Perhaps, because if your taxes are $3,500, you're $1,000 upside down, right? So, yeah, so that's what this guy did, and we went to trial for this guy recently, and it was really kind of horrible because the judge that we had, I like the judge, I get along with the judge, but this is one of those fly by the seat of your pants judges that kind of gets a knee-jerk reaction, and you know, one day they're on this side of the fence and the other day they're on the other side of the fence, and you just don't know. And we went in back last year, about middle of last year, and had a hearing, and we lowered this guy down, you know, from like $6,500 a month to $2,000.
Oh, geez.
So great result, but the other side was like, that's not fair. I've got to do discovery. He's hiding money. And we go to trial, and it turns out now the judge is like, flip the script, right? Oh, you know, this guy makes all kinds of money and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, whoa, Joe, where did the flip-flop come from, right? When we talked several months ago, you were gung-ho to give this guy a break, and now you're flipping the script. And, you know, the reality is, as I was talking to this particular client, I'm sitting here thinking this guy's got no money, right? The reality is he's got plenty of money he doesn't want to pay. right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the reality. But it's still my job to win, right? I signed up, I'm going to win. And so I go in, and everybody kind of knows now that this guy's got more money than he's than he's letting on. Everybody, when I say everybody, I mean the judge, opposing counsel, and me, right? So we all know, but I've still got my job to do. And so I've got to go in and argue for this guy to get him a reduction, because if we leave with $6,500, I've not done my job.
Right.
Then he gets mad. So we go through, we do this case, and ultimately, they're throwing out all kinds of really horrific numbers. And the judge is on board, and the opposing counsel's on board, and they're all ganging up on me, and we're kind of having a judicial conference without the clients, and they're yelling at me, and I'm screaming back at them, and go, "What are you talking about? This is outlandish," right? And the judge is, saying that this guy's got to tighten his belt, and I'm sitting here going, "Look, here's his check stub. This poor guy, he's not making any money." And the judge is like, "Yeah, but he makes hundreds of thousands a year. You gave me one bad check stub." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, how's he going to pay on this check stub? He can't do it, right?" And so ultimately, what I had to do with the judge, I go, "Look, you guys are crazy, okay? You, judge, opposing counsel, you're nuts, okay? I don't know what to tell you, but why don't you just tell me what you're going to do, And they're looking at me. I'm like, "Look, you can't afford it. You're gonna give him something he can't pay. Well, just do whatever. I don't care. Just do whatever." And they're like, "Well, can he do this?" "No, I don't think he can do that." "Well, what if we just did this?" I'm like, "That's not going to work. I'm telling you. You go ahead and you just give him whatever, because he'll default, and then we'll be back here in a couple months. You guys want to make some outlandish order? I don't have a problem with it. You just tell me what it is, and I'll go tell him what it is." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't want to come back." I'm like, "What do you want me to do?" Right? I'm working with Mr. Penniless, and you're coming at me with these huge numbers. And ultimately, they're like, "Well, can he do, as opposed to, like, what was it, 4,500? Can he do 1,200?" I'm like, "I don't think so. Well, let me go talk to him." So I go out there. I'm like, "Look, we've got you down the $1,200 a month, right?
Wow.
This is the best you're going to do. We were at 6. You were at 65. They wanted 6. I got you down to 1,200. You've got a 59% reduction over what you used to have. Take the deal." Yeah. He's like, "Well, that's a great deal. I'll take that." And so we get done, and he takes the deal, and we put the deal on the record, and we take him outside, and we're having a conversation afterwards, and he's like, "Oh boy, I was really having a hard time in there, because I kept looking over, and the ex-wife is just looking over at me, and she's giving me this little Mona Lisa smile, right?" He's like, "I just had to sit back." And I'm like, "Well, look, we tried, I was shooting for 69%, right? But we got you to 59%, so that's not terrible." And he goes, "No, that's great. All I'm going to have to do is adjust my lifestyle just a teeny bit." I'm like, "You're such a jerk." "I thought you were hurting." "Well, hurting, hurting is a relative
Pain is
term.
relative, isn't it? Yeah. Felt like a 10 at the time. I guess it's only a 2.
Now that I think about it, I could have done it no problem. But yeah, that's fine. So, but he's like, who I'm really mad at is that old attorney who got me into this deal in the first place. I'm like, sometimes going the extra mile is going to get you where you want to be. So that's a situation like we're talking about with the gambler, right?
Yeah.
I've got to call these guys bluff, because I don't have a number they're going to agree to.
Yeah.
I wanted 700, right? And they're at 4,500 plus the child support 65, and there's not a number I'm going to be able to throw out that they're going to meet. And so I've got to get them to basically negotiate against themselves.
Yeah.
To come in, "What's your number?" "I don't have a number. You do what you want.
Yeah.
I don't care. This guy, I don't know. He's never going to be able to do it." And ultimately, he gave me this lowballed figure. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, maybe. We'll see." So good result. We had another trial recently where we've got mom and dad, and they weren't married, but and they lived together. Their kid's old. The kid's like 13 years old. And dad gets a girlfriend. He's had her for a couple of years, and she moves out of state, and he moves out of state and leaves the kid here with mom. So he's kind of on this really terrible visitation schedule. Kid goes out for Christmas. Dad keeps the kid, right? Doesn't send the kid back. Which is never a good idea, okay? Please don't do that. If you're sitting at home wondering, hey, if the kid comes out for a visit, can I keep the kid? The answer is no. I'm going to tell you no every time, unless there's abuse. Unless there's some kind of sexual abuse or physical abuse or some kind of major neglect. Please don't do this. And this guy's banking on abuse. Okay, now this guy, again, started with another attorney. And he gets kind of all the way up to just before trial, and the other attorney bails on him, and he comes, can you help me? I don't know what to do, because the judge is kind of wishy-washy and not knowing. You know, when we first went into court, the judge ordered the child to return immediately. I'm like, oh, did you do it? No, I did not. What do you mean you did not? Well, I assumed there was some abuse. Well, how'd you know? Well, the kid told me. What evidence did you have? Well, I didn't have any, right? And so he goes back to the next hearing, and in the meantime has called CPS, but there's been no results. And the judge is like, has the child been returned? Everybody's like, no. And the judge is like, how dare you, right? You violated my order. He's like, Judge, there's a CPS investigation. And she's like, look, if that comes back negative, you're losing custody of this kid, Dad. And lucky for him, it comes back positive, right? And so then the judge, they come out for another hearing, and the judge says, okay, well, now that you're here, and the kid came, and the judge says, well, now that you're here, we're going to give mom a supervised visit, right? Why don't you take her someplace nice out in the open, and we'll have grandpa be the visitation guy.
Okay.
Perfect. No problem. We'll do that. Well, they get out there, and in the meantime, there had also been a child interview, and the child, who's now like 13 years old, is like, you know what? I really want to live with my dad. I feel safer with my dad. Now, if you can get the kid to do that, well, you shouldn't be getting the kid to do that, but if your child expresses a clear preference, that may be something the judge is going to go with, right? And this kid expressed a clear preference, and mom, it turned out she didn't pass her drug test, and there's these allegations of abuse, and so now we're kind of flying pretty. And the judge goes, you know, I really want mom to have this supervised visit. They go out to, I won't say the place, but they go out to a place that's out in the open, and kind of a tourist trappy place here in town. And mom starts grilling the kid about the child interview. Hey, what'd you tell the judge? You know, why'd you tell the judge this? Which is really a horrible thing. And grandpa sees that happening, warns mom a couple times, and then just by himself goes, you know what? I'm canceling the visit, right? Oh, please don't do that, right? Please don't cancel the visit. This is like the first time mom's seen the kid in like 6 months, and the judge really wanted this visit. And so they cancel the visit, and now we've got trial in a couple weeks, and this guy comes in, and he's like, you know, I think I'm winning, but I'm not sure, because the judge doesn't seem very happy with me. And I'm looking to listen to him, and I look over the notes, and I'm like, boy, for a guy who's winning the case, you've done everything wrong, right? Like, why would you do these things? Like, who said this was a good? Well, the attorney said it was a good idea. Why would this attorney say that, right? You've got to be joking. You've got to. Nobody said that to you. Oh yeah, they did. I'm like, oh, okay. I know the attorney, but okay, if you say that's how they practice, whatever. So we go in, and the guy actually has a video of what he says is the child interview, or the child visit, the supervised visit. So he goes, hey, let me show you this video. I want to play it at trial. And he pulls out the video, And what I expect to see, here's what I expected to see, right? I expect to see mom and the child at this place, and mom sitting there going, hey, why did you tell the judge this? How dare you? Blah, blah, blah. You're a horrible person. Blah, blah, blah. That's what I expect to see.
Yeah.
What I end up seeing is mom, dad, and the child in the middle, the child holding on to both of them, mom and dad having a tug-of-war with this kid, both of them telling the other parent how horrible the other parent is, and the kid going, please don't do this. Please, why do you guys always do this? Blah, 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 blah. I can't take it anymore. And the kid's like, the dad's like, look, see how distraught she is? I'm like, I'm never showing that video to this judge. Why would you think this is a good idea? This is not a good video. You may lose even though you're winning if I show the judge this video.
Yes.
Please don't do that, right? I thought it was great. The other attorney thought it was great. No, they didn't, because they didn't give me the video, right? They decided this wasn't part of the evidence they wanted to share. But it turns out the police got called, and the police came out, and the kid ended up going with dad, and you see mom just huffing and puffing. That's it. Oh, this is crap, and she starts walking off. And so there we go, right? And so we jump on the case, we finish up preparations for trial, and we end up going to trial. And I show up, and there's an opposing counsel that I know, and I pull her aside, and I say, hey, opposing counsel, any way we can settle this case? And she's like, I don't think so. Your guy, he's got some good stuff, but, he's horrible. I don't think the judge likes him. And I said, well, let's just see, right?
Yeah.
And so we're waiting, and we got there a little bit early, but we waited a few minutes, and time for trial shows up. 5 minutes go by. 10 minutes go by. I'm like, hey, counsel, where's your client? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna give her a call. Okay, why don't you give her a call real quick? Call her, and the phone goes to voicemail, and so we go in. And finally, the judge calls us in like half an hour late, and she's like, hey, mom's attorney, where's your client? And she's like, I don't know. She's supposed to be here. I talked to her. She was going to come. And the judge is like, well, I'm not sitting around waiting forever. Mr. Smith, what do you want to do? And I said, Judge, listen, my client's come all the way from out of state. He's here. He's done everything he was supposed to do. And the judge is like, don't you tell me that. He hasn't done everything he's supposed to do. I'm like, well, he's here, Judge. And, there's this negative drug test, and there's this really bad child interview. And, we did the supervised visit. I heard about that supervised visit. I'm like, oh, well, it happened. Maybe it wasn't the best, but it happened. And she's like, okay. So where's your client, mom? Or where's mom's attorney? And she's like, I don't know. Call her a couple more times. No answer. And so I said, look, Judge, here's a couple options we can do. I don't like to take advantage of a bad situation. Yes, I do. So, but here's what we could do. We could take a default today. If you wanted to do that, we could certainly strike mom's complaint and just go off my client's answer and counterclaim. Or maybe we could just prove it up, right? And we could do a quick prove-up trial. And that way we can get all the good evidence on the record that the court needs to make its decision. The court's like, I'm like, okay.
What department was this? Can you say, or can you not?
I don't want to say.
Tell me after.
I will, but it might rhyme with laxy. So we get in there, and the judge is like, well, okay, counsel, your client's not here, but you're here. Why don't you just rule on the pleadings? And so we go, well, yeah, sure, Judge, that sounds like a great idea. And the judge is like,
on the pleadings.
Judge is like, I went through, and here's the best interest factors, and this one's for the child really wants to be with dad, so I like that, but the child also wants to visit with mom. I like that. Mom's mental health is compromised based on the drugs. I don't like that. But dad withheld the kid, violated my orders, canceled the supervised visit. That goes for mom, And I'm like, I don't want to lose this thing, even with the other side not here, right?
Yeah.
And so she's like, what do you have to say? And I got up, I said, look, Judge, what you're supposed to be doing here is not comparing which party you like better. This is about the best interest of a child. And we've got a preteen child here who's crying out for help, and Dad's doing everything he's supposed to do. Maybe he hasn't had the best advice before we came on board, but now that we're here, we'll take care of things for you, and certainly we won't have those situations again. But really, this kid knows what she wants, and she feels safe with Dad. We've got to go with that. And the judge is like, yeah, I tend to agree, especially because Mom didn't show up. So, ruling in favor of Dad, primary physical custody, child support, blah, blah, blah. Oh, child support. And so then it was, and counsel was like, well, wait a minute, Judge. I want child support arrears. Oh, this was a good one. So she says, look, the kid's 12, right? Mom's had primary custody forever. And under the rules, we're allowed to ask for up to 4 years of back child support if there's never been a child support order. Mom wants her 4 years. And if we use Dad's income, that's $24,000 that Dad owes Mom. And the judge is just itching to do something mean to Dad, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's very interesting. Mr. Smith, what do you have to say about that? I said, Judge, listen, I appreciate counsel's argument. The back child support, that's always I'd probably ask for it myself. But if you actually read the statute, what statute is that? Oh, NRS 125B.030. Which one? NRS 125B.030. Well, wait, which one? NRS 125B.030. She goes, you're going too fast for me. Yeah, I'm usually too fast for ChatGPT too, Judge, but that's actually the statute. She pulls it up. She goes, oh, that is the statute. Okay. I said, if you actually read the statute, it doesn't say you get 4 years of back child support. It says that in a situation where there's been no child support, you can request up to 4 years of expenses for the child's care and health and maintenance. I didn't see any expenses listed for the past 4 years of care, health, and maintenance. Where is that evidence?
Right.
So you're just going to go willy-nilly and say that it's $24,000? That's nonsense. And furthermore, Dad was living here until October. So he's only been, and then he kept the kid in December, so it would only be really 2 months that Mom had primary custody. I'll give you 2 months. I can't give you 4 years. And the judge is just kind of like, well, wait, that, and opposing counsel's like, well, I'm familiar with the argument, but I've never had a judge do that. And I said, well, Judge, look, the statute's clear. I don't care what experience this attorney has with other judges. I know this court to be a judge that follows the law. And the law says care, support, maintenance, not child support. She's like, okay, well, what would Mom's child support be? I said, well, it'd be like $200 a month. She goes, here's what I'm thinking about doing. I'll waive Mom's child support, but I'll also waive Dad's back arrears, and then they can split the transportation costs. I'm like, Judge, you are so smart. That is the best idea I think I've ever heard. That is so great. Thank you, Judge. So we got out of the back $24,000 in child support, which Dad was thrilled.
Right.
And
you don't want to pay that, I'm sure.
No, I'm sure. And we get all the way done, and in about the middle of that argument, all of a sudden the door flings open, and it's Mom's attorney's paralegal comes storming in, and we're all like, oh. So we get all done. I'm like, well, thank you, Judge. Great order. We'll see you. And I whisper to my client, like, get out of here. I'll meet you outside. Don't be here.
Yeah.
And so we leave because you've got to know when to run,
Yeah.
right? If she had showed up, we could have a very different trial. And I know the judge really wanted to smack my client around for goofing around with the orders.
Yeah.
But as a result, because I don't know if Mom had a flat tire or a car breakdown or whatever the case may be, we ended up being able to use the law and use kind of the better facts in our case to get yet another father primary physical custody. So, these are the kind of things that we do.
It's yet another stellar victory for Smith Legal Group.
So many victories. It's so much winning. So much winning. I can't get enough.
It's just too much.
So, look, if you like these kind of legal stories and legal cases and like to hear about how you could probably win primary custody in court, like, share, and subscribe. That'll help us bring me more of these stories. And we'll see you next time on The Legal Smith Unleashed.